Yeah, so we're doing the freedom dance. Yeah! Oh. It was a long way to freedom. 29 years. 29 years. And she was free. It's so exciting. We found Sojourner Truth interpretive path on her freedom walk. And wow, we've been looking and looking and looking. I've been looking and looking and looking. We finally found it. Oh my God, it's so awesome. Yeah, the quote here is, the Lord gave me sojourner because I was to travel up and down the land. And the Lord gave me truth because I was to declare the truth to the people. And so, this is the truth walk. This is the freedom walk. It's June 1st. Happy birthday, Sojourner Truth. Oh man, this is so exciting. I'm really excited. I travel all over California to do this walk. And I'm heckin' excited. On June 1st day, I found it. It's my brother. This is so cool. It's really cool down here. It's nice. All this water. Oh man. It's really beautiful. Happy birthday, Sojourner Truth. Happy birthday. Oh, I hear a duck. Oh. when we think about our ancestors and we think about the trail of tears or bones under the various waters like the Atlantic and what's now known as the Indian Oceans, don't necessarily talk about, the bones that are part of the landscape. And this looks like a graveyard, these branches and then all these roots growing on top of the ground for these trees that are really tall and straight and strong. We've been here a minute. But it's sort of like a map. And our people, are here in the land and in the trees and in the map. So it's like their bones are here. It's like the big graveyard. And it's really to be able to walk through this cemetery and be able to pour libations and call their names and honor their memories is a real privilege. Real privilege. I think I'm gonna spray my bottle now and clear the space. Might need to do both. Because these let's see, so I think I want to go that way over there. Another Sojourner Truth plaque. I thought it was going to be easy, following in her footsteps, walking in the path that she laid down for us. But everybody has their own path, and even if she did lay a foundation, that doesn't mean it's going to be easy for the rest of us. Here's her picture on the tree. Wow, this is so cool. Ashe Iya. There's two more of her pictures up here. It's like a treasure hunt. All these roots. Ashe, ashe. Okay, excellent. Let's just see where it goes. See where the path takes us. Because we got to cross over here again. definitely need a walking stick. My goodness. Ever made was strong enough to turn the world upside down. These women together ought to be able to turn it right again. And now that they are asking to do it, the men better let them. Another truth marker. Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, this is going, now it's going this way. Oh, there's another plaque up here. And here's Sojourner on the trees telling us, keep on coming, folks. Keep on coming. Oh. Ever made was strong enough to turn the world upside down. These women together ought to be able to turn it right again. And now that they are asking to do it, the men better let them. Yeah. All right. So this particular placard, Sojourner Truth Trail, talks about when she ended up getting, free, and the people that she was staying with paid $20 to her owner for the rest of the year. And I was just thinking about how she had to leave her daughters. She had daughters that she couldn't bring with her. She had a young son, Peter, and how men, in this case her husband, he ended up, being the person who took care of their children. And we don't talk a lot about men as nurturers, and men who stay behind and take care of the family for whatever reason. She was an elder, and she was 29 and in better shape than him. But just her son Peter was sold. He was like 5 years old, and when she got back and found out, she sued her owners, and ended up getting her son back. And so there's a court house in Kingston where there's a plaque and also information about the case. And it was really unusual, not just for a black woman, but period, for someone to take a case to the Supreme Court. And she says, in the thing, she says, Isabella understood the judge to declare as the sentence of the court that the boy be delivered into the hands of the mother, having no other master, no other controller, no other conductor but his mother. This sentence was obeyed, and he was delivered into her hands. So that's really a really beautiful moment, in her life, getting back her son. Unfortunately, he had been tortured and suffered from trauma around that for the rest of his life. As did she. And she was a child enslaved as well. That looks like an underground railroad tunnel. If you could, like a literal railroad tunnel, you can go under here and come out somewhere. I was just talking to you about Peter, Sojourner Truth's youngest child, who had been sold from New York to the South, and that was against the law, because the year after she walked to her freedom, New York discontinued slavery, and then gradually supposedly phased it out. I don't know how that worked out. But anyway, this particular plaque looks at Isabella, who eventually became Sojourner Truth, as a child slave. And this particular statue is in the Sopus, sort of like in a, I don't know, sort of a thoroughfare. And it's supposedly supposed to be the only monument depicting an enslaved child. And so anyway, this is the part of the trail. It says, as she gained the summit of a high hill, the sun offended her by coming forth in all its pristine splendor. She thought it never was so light before. And this is from her narrative of Sojourner Truth. So, so anyway, this talks about how she just took her own freedom, because when she was 29, and here I'm going to read it to you. Born Isabella Bonfrey, Sojourner Truth, 1797 to 1883, spent the first 29 years of her life enslaved in Ulster County, which is where we are presently. She was sold 3 times and often treated cruelly. She worked longest for John Dumont, who promised her freedom in 1826. She worked for him for 16 years and didn't get the retirement plan. 1 year before New York emancipated all enslaved people, which was 1827. When Dumont renounced his promise, Isabella took matters into her own hands, leaving behind a husband and 3 of her 4 children. She began the 11.5-mile walk to freedom over Chapanique Bridge, which is where we are, carrying her infant daughter Sophia. Isabella found help from the Quaker Levy Road and his wife, who suggested 2 places where she might find refuge. Isabella continued walking, finally arriving at one of them, the home of Isaac and Maria Van Vanagen, I guess, Waganen, maybe? They paid Dumont $25 so that Isabella and Sophia remained free. And so anyway, this is that place, and this is that moment in her journey where freedom was not only a possibility, it actually happened. And there's so many of us that are still slaves today, slaves to a lot of things. And just think about Sojourner Truth and other ancestors who didn't own their own persons. And we have our own persons, and we sort of squander our freedom. So this is my gratitude walk. This is my thank you to all of the ancestors like Sojourner Truth, who have made these steps for us that we can just walk in if we just choose to see, to see where they've been and what they've done. And as the Sankofa bird tells us, look back and remember the past so that we can move forward as a free people. Since I've been here, I guess it's going into the 2nd week now, I found that Sojourner Truth have a lot of allies. And the reason why I wanted to come here is because this is her country. This is like Sojourner Truth country. And maybe she didn't want me to say that. Spirit is real. There's Sojourner Truth. Hey, yeah. going downhill. So I got to be careful. I'm glad I have a cane. And it's been a long time since I was 29. Because, you know, Sojourner Truth was 29 when she was taking this walk to freedom. She wasn't carrying a cane back then. Just her daughter, Sophia, and her clothes, her belongings. But you take your freedom at whatever age, you know, 29, 16, 21, 63. Don't want to live your life in bondage. And you don't want to leave this life in bondage. Let's see now. This is Pakistan. Ah, down at the bottom of the hill, free at last. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. Yes, we did it. Thank you, E.S. Sojourner, for taking this walk to freedom. We appreciate you, and we honor you, and we're thankful to you. Well, we did it. I went the long way, but I just learned that there was an easier way, and there are signs on the trees, but I missed them. So anyway, this is the last plaque. There are 5, and we saw them all. And this one here is Sojourner Truth, and she's sitting. You can't see the picture, but there's a daguerreotype photo on her lap with I think her son's picture in the middle. Peter actually was lost at sea, and so when he went away to sea, he didn't come back home. So anyway, wow. I guess this must be the beginning, but I don't know. But it says here, welcome to the Sojourner Truth Trail. It offers a glimpse into the life of this remarkable woman who escaped 3 decades of enslavement in Ulster County by crossing Chappaneck Ridge and went on to become a passionate advocate in the abolitionist, suffragette, and civil rights movements. Possessed of a commanding presence, fearlessness, unbounded compassion, and generosity, Sojourner Truth worked tirelessly to improve the lives of others. Her life and accomplishments inspire and embolden all of us to speak and act out against injustice, fulfilling her legacy. And information on the 5 signs along the trail comes from the narrative of Sojourner Truth, an autobiography she dedicated to a friend, Olive Gilbert, in 1850. And to learn more about Sojourner Truth's compelling story, you can visit scenichudson.org, SJT Trail. But I want to recommend that you read a really wonderful book that I'm reading presently by Margaret Washington. It's called Sojourner Truth's America. It's so awesome. And then another book I recommend is by Nell Irvin Painter, called Sojourner Truth, and it really unpacks the narrative. When I think about my father moving to San Francisco after living in New Orleans, which is where I was born, I think about Sojourner Truth petitioning Lincoln, the president. She actually is the first person of African descent who was enslaved to actually know 2 presidents. And so she wanted them to open up the West for formerly enslaved African people, and I say African because we weren't citizens, so we're African, not American. Um, so anyway, she wanted us to come west because there was more opportunity and less stigma and less, um, I guess, persecution. But that particular plan didn't work out for at this particular time. But I just think about, my family, living in the West and other people of African descent living in the West. And I just sort of think about her dream and her vision. And, and yeah, definitely, she is inspirational because, she had agency. She took herself from, being owned by other people. She said, that I belong to me and I am going to be free. And that was just really beautiful. And also she taught us to like listen to that voice inside, that true voice that's speaking to us, that's telling us what to do and what not to do, following that voice. Because that is the God voice, that is the true voice. And so there are just so many levels that she inspires me on personally. And I'm really happy that we got a chance to do just a little bit of the 11 and a half miles. And we didn't do 11 and a half miles, but, gives you a little taste because it's not an easy walk here. Just like her life wasn't an easy walk.